What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. Take up your Pokeballs and get going. Those are some of the latest words from the Pokemon Master Trainer himself, Junichi Masuda. So, tonight we'll be taking a closer look at one of the latest interviews with Masuda-san regarding Pokemon Let's Go. After all, shouldn't we, as Masuda-san says, become the trainer, throw their Pokeballs, and achieve that dream that everyone should be having to become a Pokemon trainer? So join us as we take a look at the dream, or perhaps the nightmare, that is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Alright, so I know most of us are more on the nightmare of things here, or all of us are.
Somebody's buying it, aren't they? I'm trying to remember. Because I sure as hell isn't, and I buy everything.
I don't know if it's going to be kid-friendly enough, but I don't know. It seems like with this interview,
yeah,
maybe it will be.
It was kind of a interesting interview, and this interview is two parts of the interview, or two different interviews rather. One is through Eurogamer, which had the more extensive interview, and when Masuda-san was asked, who is this designed for? Why did you choose this version? And he said he wants it to be for kids that don't have a phone or didn't have the chance to play Pokemon Go. And it's got relatable characters like Pikachu and Team Rocket that they may have seen in the anime. And then he went on and said, there won't be a lot of challenges and other things in it because we're wanting to make it a more mobile-like experience, because that's how kids play games today, quickly moving through games rather than spending 30 or 40 hours to complete a game like a Pokemon game normally is.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, I'm the odd man out here in this group that has never played a Pokemon other than Pokemon Go, and that didn't really hold my interest.
No, and nor should it. I don't know if a mainline Pokemon would hold your interest or not necessarily. It is, at its core, it's a JRPG, really.
Yeah.
But it's kind of taken on a life of its own.
Like, to me, that's like the weird fetish thing that I'm glad I'm not into. Because once you get into it, it consumes you.
Well, it's kind of like,
at least for a while.
I would say it was a entry-level JRPG that is approachable to kids, but I think a lot of adults have continued to play over the years because in the mainline games, you can kind of take it as deep as you want to go with it.
Yeah, that was the thing is there is so much metagame to Pokemon, right? There's the main story, but then there's just a million different like side things you can do. There's so much post game. There's
complete your Pokédex.
You can become competitive. You can go, that route. You can play online. And he was asked about it in the same interview. Are there going to be things for adult fans? Is there going to be a challenge to the game in post game? And the two things he referenced, well, three things. One was completing the Pokédex, which is kind of goes without saying. And the other one was a catch combo for catching the same Pokemon over and over.
Oh, come on.
That's what everyone wants. Everyone who loves Pokemon Go knows that's their favorite part of the game, is recatching the same Pokemon over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
kind of like the breaking weapons in Zelda. Like, we're going to make Breath of the Wild 2. Every weapon's going to break after like 2 hits. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
It's just what everyone wants.
We're really going to get that weapon diversity going now.
But he did mention one other thing, which I had not heard about, and I admit I haven't been following the news as closely as I would with other games. But apparently there's going to be some type of Master Trainer challenge. And the way I understand it, it's going to be one Master Trainer.
Translated that right? Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. It's how I read it in the article.
That's part of the post game, right?
Right. And you can train one specific Pokemon, and the Pokemon he referenced was Psyduck. And then you go and challenge the Psyduck Master, and if you beat him, you get that title. for all 151 of the original Pokemon.
So this is like the equivalent of Jason completing all the Splatoon single player over and over again to get all the different weapons, but this time he has a chance to do it 151 times.
Yep.
So there's 151 characters scattered around the world that you got to find and challenge.
And maybe more. Because didn't they say they were going to have some newer Pokemon in there too?
Well, they ask about that. Are you going to expand beyond this? And he says, right now we're going to see how the game is received and then go from there.
And then we'll have paid DLC.
Yeah, Generation DLC packs.
Yep, Generation 2 will be $10.
Add Gen 2 for 20 at least.
Maybe.
You don't think
All
they'll have to
that
make
extra
new
playtime.
games? I don't think it'll be expansions. I think there'll be
a sequel.
Pokemon. Yeah,
you're right.
Let's go, whoever from Gen 2.
Why sell something for $20 when you can sell it for $60?
Yeah.
Who's a Gen 2 Pokemon?
Cyndaquil.
Totodile.
Totodile. I like that one.
What's the other one? What's the
Chikorita.
third one?
Let's go Totodile.
Oh, what was it? What was it?
Chikorita, the grass type.
Oh, Chikorita was Gen 2. That's right.
So that's what we can expect in 2020 or 2021.
Yeah, the other interview that we had with him, which I just saw this today, was from The Verge. And he said, this is a direct quote, "The biggest thing I feel with Let's Go is really hoping that it's going to serve as a sort of base or starting point for the next 20 years of Pokemon." I don't know about you, but that terrifies me.
No, I think well, you know what? He's right.
Yeah.
That's going to kill Pokemon.
Well, what he's saying is we're tired of catering to the adult fans who grew up with it. It's time to start our next generation of Pokemon trainers.
And watch it fail. No, this is the nail. This is a nail in the coffin for Pokemon, I think.
The girls in the Pikachu hats are approaching age 40. Let's get some cuter girls into those Pokemon hats. Well, I mean, there are younger people though that pick it up later.
See. Yeah, I mean, right. There's a lot of kids that play the cards. Yeah. I know, like my buddies' kids.
My nephews play those.
This is
the thing.
That's a really unique thing about Pokemon is somehow it has a kind of a global reach as far as ages go. Yeah. I've seen kids, little kids, 5, 6 years old with Pokemon stuff, like you'll see them out somewhere with a shirt on or playing with the cards or whatever. And then you'll also see adults who are much older than any of us, senior adults, and they're walking around playing Pokemon Go, or they're wearing, Pokemon Go Plus on their wrist or something. So it's interesting.
I have never seen anybody with a Pokemon Go Plus, but I assure you they're out there. I know they are.
Yeah. And they're not just hanging on the shelf at Target for the last...
Yeah, that's where I see them. But my daughter she's got Pokemon socks.
See?
She's all into those.
Yeah.
And she's never played any Pokemon. She's played a little bit of Go. Sometimes I'll pass the phone to her and let her catch one. So, I mean, I could see especially if you had the ball, but with the Joy-Con, this is one of those times where I would definitely put that strap on the Joy-Con.
Yep. Especially if you want to give it to her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to give it to her. But I could see her enjoying the whole throwing motion with the Joy-Con. Like, that's motion control, and that's fun for kids. I just don't know how much she would grab the concept of, whatever you had to do, unless the game is real linear and guides you around.
I don't know. I'm wondering how much it's going to be, because, like he said, they were asked about puzzles and challenges. Like, in the mainline series games, it was like you had to use strength to push rocks around and things like that. And I kind of took it from his comments that they're not going with that. It's going to be more straightforward, more simple task, like in Pokemon Go, like catch this type of Pokemon or make this type of throw. Like in Pokemon Go is what I meant to say.
You and your curveballs.
I don't know. It's a good reboot of a movie makes use of all the original components, just kind of spun a little differently.
Yeah.
Everything I'm seeing about this really isn't that. It's a reboot. Like they're changing stuff, and it's just not going to fly, man. I don't think it's going to. I don't think some kids will get into it the way, I got some kids that are craving arms every time they come over. There's a few out there, but this is not going to catch on.
Yeah, it's not made for current Pokemon fans, though.
No, but that's the thing is it's got to attract both, or it's not going to succeed. Like Go attracted both initially, casuals as well as hardcores, and then it kind of tapered off. But right, that's what got the zeitgeist the first time. It's not going to work this time. There's nothing for old school fans. And that's where they're missing the boat here.
He kind of kept selling his point. I know we've talked about with the control schemes in the past about it may not be so successful to play in handheld. And he kept talking about people gathering around the TV and having a more, open family or friends experience with that. I don't see how Pokemon can be that.
No.
Yeah.
Let's
all gather around the TV and watch somebody play Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe it's Japan,
But it's also going to have the co-op mode, so.
But
so two people so you can buy twice as many of those Pokeball controllers, and
I mean, Barry's not on board, right?
I don't think so. I think he probably would be the most.
Yeah, he's the most likely. Yeah, with the kids and the family thing and the whole. But I don't think he was getting into it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we know he's ditched our podcast to check out what's that, Starlink, which I'm a little jealous of. I want to hear his review on that when he joins us.
Yeah. It's as far as what to expect from sales. I thought this was. I am a fan, or less so recently, but I've been a fan historically of Nintendo Life, and they've got a little YouTube channel that they run as well. And their clickbaity headline was, "Let's Go could be 500 million people's first real Pokemon game." Unless I missed some sort of announcement on the sales of the Switch from Nintendo or some sort of estimate, I really don't think there's going to be 500 million Switches sold even lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, that would be 5 times the lifetime sales of the Wii. I think that's a little.
Yeah.
I think that's aiming a little high.
But he's thinking like half the people that have played Pokemon Go that never played a Pokemon game before are going to pick up a Switch so they can play this one, which
I don't. 500 million people.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Like, I think that may be how many people tried out Pokemon Go, maybe.
Yeah. I don't even think 500 million people would try the demo in a store.
Yeah. So the thing with Pokemon Go, it's free, and you already got the smartphone most likely.
Yeah. Like, that's just asinine. Yeah.
Unless you're Eric and you buy one specifically for the game.
Well, Eric's just that hardcore.
Eric's weird.
That's what he did for me, Tomo. Hi, Eric.
We like to tease Eric, but Eric's a good guy. Yeah. We enjoy having him on. Miss having him on.
Yeah.
Come back, Eric.
But anyway. But yeah, we'll see what it does. They're certainly putting their marketing behind it. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of child.
I don't want to hear the next word out of your mouth.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the child predator TV commercials trying to attract children into the Pokemon van. No.
Yeah, that's.
I think it'll be clear what age demographic they're going after once. Well, it already is with the big stupid Eevee and Pikachu suits.
Oh, that though, that's not really new to
Yeah.
Pokemon. That's been
Yeah,
going
I
on in
know.
Japan for decades.
Yeah.
That's
And
Japan.
that's the other thing, this with the Masuda-san, he's talking probably from a Japanese perspective of children not having phones and watching the anime. Whereas here it's like the 6-year-old and 7-year-old neighbor kids have cell phones around me. What they do on them, God only knows. But I do know as a parent, you do hand the kid the phone and let them, watch YouTube videos or, play little mobile games and stuff like that. So, I mean,
I
I
see.
understand kids will play stuff without necessarily having their own phone. But
You
Most
see
of the
that.
time, oh, go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say you see that in restaurants. The kids get restless or whining or
yeah,
something, and then they,
shut up. Here's my
they
phone.
yeah they hand him the
What?
phone, and then they get quiet, and it's like,
yeah.
wish you'd have
And
done it 20 minutes ago.
Z will be there
that's
soon enough.
that's the thing. After the first 6 months or so, or maybe even the first year of the Switch, where like I still don't see kids with them. Like
Yeah.
I know some kids, little in the family that have them, but overall, like I still every time I see a kid playing on something kind of big, I look, oh, is that no? It's a tablet or it's a big phone or
Yeah.
it's not a Switch. I never see him out there.
Well,
And
that
that's
makes
the business that Nintendo wishes they could get, because that
Yeah.
is where kids are right now. Is every kid's got a kid tablet, a Nabi or an Amazon Fire tablet or something.
have any of us actually seen another person not related to us or with us with a Switch in public?
I've never seen anyone with a Switch in public other than myself,
I'm pretty sure no.
and that wasn't even public. I've taken it out of my house to other people's houses, but
I've played it in the car, and I've played it
yeah,
on a trip, but that's about as public as I've went with it.
yeah. I think Japan just has a different culture, and in the U.S., you're not really going to see some dude inside McDonald's playing his Switch.
Well,
If you
here's
did, you'd think he's a loser.
there's also Japan is kind of a nationalist monoculture in a way that
Is that
um
contagious?
in a way obviously that America is by definition not. I think there's a certain kind of thing where it's kind of there's a little bit of national pride in purchasing a Nintendo or Sony product,
Yeah.
and showing it off. I think there's a I don't know how much, probably a small degree, but enough that it matters, enough that it makes a difference, I think.
I would say that there's a degree of Nintendo loyalty in Japan that we can't even
Yeah.
imagine. And
Yeah.
you see that with the stuff like,
But
soda
again,
and stuff like that with the images on it, and it's like it's a different world.
yeah, and again, I think
Yeah.
it's part of it is the nationalist thing. It's like Nintendo's this homegrown
Mm-hmm.
global company that everyone's real proud of, kind of thing. I think and rightfully so. Go ahead.
I sometimes wonder how much nostalgia is a strictly American thing, but then again, they've got the Nintendo Online service in Japan too. So
Yeah, and the minis, the Famicom Mini, not only the Famicom Mini, but the
yeah,
gold Famicom Mini, right?
Yeah, I think nostalgia is alive and well, and history is important to Japan, and I think you see that in Nintendo. They always have stayed true to themselves over the
they
years.
always try to keep a link to the past.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure my daughter, having never played it and not understanding any idea of what it is, it's got Pikachu on it. I know she wants her own Switch, and I'm sure she would be more than happy to have a Switch that has Pikachu on the dock, and probably even those bland Joy-Con.
I think that's where it's going to see all of its sales, and it's through the Christmas and holiday seasons. Kids are going to be in the store. There's Pikachu. Parents are
Yeah.
going to be in the store. There's Pikachu, and it's notice they have Pikachu and Eevee is the
Yeah.
most.
Well, just like I said, my daughter likes her Pokemon socks. You go to Target, they've got Pikachu hoodies, tons of Pokemon shirts in the children's section. So kids are obviously familiar with the property.
Right.
And, that's who they're going for. And I think they'll do okay. I still don't expect this Christmas to be any better, really, than last Christmas. But I don't know that Pokemon and Smash can do what Odyssey couldn't.
Yeah.
We'll
I
see.
agree.
20 million this quarter, I don't think, for this
That's
year.
that said, I mean, once the supply chain's rolling and whatever, we'll see. But like 36,000 or 36 million consoles is a good number. It's still not. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's still not knocking it out of the park to me in 2 years.
But the word on the street amongst Pokemon people in the know is wait for the next game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we? That was going to be my next question. Are we okay with saying this is a children's game targeted at a younger audience, and it's okay that we don't want to play this? Is the game
No.
coming out next year okay? That it's two separate things.
No, it's not okay. I don't think, because for most people this is going to be the next Pokemon game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the hardcores know the difference. I don't know. I don't know what Pokemon's casual pickup appeal is as far as people who pick it up and aren't necessarily fans of the series. But I don't think anyone's going to buy a Switch for this game other
No.
than just the hardcore Pokemon people that are like, it's got Pikachu on it, I want it.
Or the
But then
kids that were
again,
going to get them anyway.
did those 2DSs fly off shelves with Pikachu on them?
That's a really good point. Those have been around a long time, and are still around.
Maybe they just keep restocking them.
Could be.
Could be. Look at Z with optimism. Benefit of the doubt.
I don't know. That kind of stuff, the little 2DSs, and I figure those are still making money. And Pikachu's probably a popular one, right? I don't know. Like those are. Yeah, I mean, remember that they had Game and Watches alongside the NES and the Game Boys. So this is the 2DS is their Game and Watch. Those little, and it even looks like one kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bet they're still making money on those, right? Like the numbers with the NES Classic, it's like you guys see them in the shelves. You're not seeing anybody. I don't ever see anybody buying one when I'm in the store, but it was the best-selling console in August or September or whatever.
Yeah,
so
there's plenty of those.
They're doing those numbers on the back end, kind of quietly.
I think those are going to be
stealthily.
big again this holiday.
Yeah, I think
people will pick them up, especially when, like I said, I went to Best Buy and went back to the Nintendo section, and I said, I can't believe they actually sold all their Super NES and their NES classics because they had zero back where the video game stuff was. And I asked an employee, he's like, "Oh, it's all up at the front. They got the little rat race maze set up that you have to walk through the different, partitioned off line, and that was just lined with Super NES classics and NES classics right as you walk through the register. As your $80 or $60
impulse buy.
But for a gift, like for people who are like, oh,
I've seen that controller on one of his shirts he got at Hot Topic.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of people who know what it is and remember that it was impossible to get 2 years ago.
Maybe.
And there'll be those people who's like, I know that guy, he plays games, I'll get him one of those.
He bought a pre-faded t-shirt with a picture of that thing on it from Target.
Nice.
All right.
We do have a little bit more Pokemon news to get through. I'll just mention this real quickly because I know it's not a big popular topic here on the show, but Pokemon
You wouldn't know it.
You wouldn't know it. Pokemon Go actually had a big launch today. Generation 4 is finally live, or at least the first wave. So kind of the interesting thing aside from new Pokemon is we've seen some new region exclusives. And if you've been paying attention to the game lately, they've really been pumping out the opportunities to pick up both your own region exclusive and some from some of the others from Gen 1. But it looks like Canada possibly has their own region exclusive Chatot, which is one I'd be interested in. It's a bird Pokemon. It's going to be for the Southern Hemisphere. I know the reports have kind of referenced South America and Australia, which is an odd border. But the real interesting one is here in the Southeast U.S., where I live, we're getting Carnivine as a region exclusive. I do not know why they've selected the Southeastern United States to have a region exclusive, but I am thankful for it.
But Carnivine fits. It's a nice green area down there.
Yeah, I guess so.
There was some number. Oh yeah, Pokemon Go had made a bunch of money. Like I saw something. I can't remember what it was. Now all I'm seeing is some article from July, but there was some new update that like it made so many, like whatever it was, $500-800 million like in the last month or something.
Yeah, it was kind of talking about like a revival within the last 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that,
It's
but I don't
made a ton of money. So there are people there, and I saw a meme on Twitter the other day that was like, a year ago, you're still playing Pokemon Go, and then it says today you don't play Pokemon Go. So apparently it's somehow had another resurgence or is still there. People are enjoying it enough to keep at it.
I'm seeing some things pop up just in my own personal playing. Like I see more lures up at places, and there was like a long period of time where you did see them, and then it just kind of dropped off, and it's like just you never saw any lured Pokestops anywhere. But just over this past weekend, I saw a group of lured Pokestops, and I saw at least one family playing Pokemon Go, and it's like, wow, you don't run into them that often.
Probably just some child molesters trying to bring the kids in.
You know what? Admittedly, the wife and I have every once in a while we'll see like a couple. It seems like it's usually like college age. It's a college age couple. Like if we're at a restaurant or whatever. Now we
Furries.
often, yeah, maybe, but often we're in Asian areas, so I'll point that out. It's usually Asian people. But we've here and there, out, in a shopping center or whatever, we've spotted a couple people still playing it recently. So maybe since whatever updates have come around or something. But sometime, over the last few months over the summer, I saw people here and there playing it. Not a lot, but enough that it's like, oh, okay, it's still a thing, sort of.
Yeah. I think they've...
hopefully that's not insulting, Jason.
No, not at all. But I mean, I think they are making steps in the right direction. They're still really slow about bringing out things that should have been out a long time ago. But people see optimism in the future of Pokemon Go as they're introducing things. And I think they're working on building a community among players, which I'm not really a part of, but because I play by myself usually. But I think there's other people that play in groups, and that helps keep it going if you're hanging out with a group of friends playing something.
And maybe some of the Let's Go hype has at least renewed the visibility of Pokemon again.
Yeah, definitely. At least you see advertisements about it, and there'll probably be other Pokemon merchandise coming along too. So.
I mean, I'm all for Nintendo. Right, Nintendo and Disney are both in that same kind of business where they're providing something that people love for a price. And, you don't, I'm trying to think of the right verbiage, but right. It's cool. You're okay with it as long as they're not too greedy about it. And so that's a fine line Nintendo walks. And I don't know. We'll see. I feel like
the
they're getting
DLC starts. We'll see how much people can stomach.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like Let's Go is is a greedy action in and of itself. Where it feels like somebody thought, ooh, Pokemon Go is a huge hit 2 years ago, and they started development on this, trying to cash in on it, and now this is where it's at. Where nobody cares about Pokemon Go anymore, and it took you this long to build a game to plug into it. You missed the boat, so now you're making the best of it. And I don't know, maybe I'm being a little cynical about it.
I felt like that at first, but now I feel like they're just trying to plant seeds and hope that they grow into lifelong customers.
I guess my view on it is a little bit that I'm a little embittered that they've probably postponed the mainline series game that we've been promised.
I would agree.
It's supposedly been done for some while to push this out, to like try to make a little more money off the Pokemon fans before we give them what they want.
What if the next one's actually called Stars?
It could be, but I don't.
After the disaster that was Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, yeah. I would say Stars is probably off the table. They're going to want to do something else entirely.
Yeah, it's time to move away from that region and that series and go on to something else. Hopefully, something drastically new that will make up for this.
Something that at least has the smell of an MMO on it, or I'm not buying.
It's got to be something other than here's a new Pokemon and here's a new region that looks like somewhere else.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's basically got to be a full reboot in one way or another, and it's got to be a good one, or I'm out.
Yeah, I agree. I say that it's kind of embittered me that it's been delayed, but I don't know how excited I am to buy another game along the lines of Sun and Moon, or that I even would if it comes to Switch. So we'll see, though. We'll see when that happens and when that is. But then we'll all be playing Animal Crossing, right?
Right.
You will be.
Again, Animal Crossing's in that exact same boat where it needs to, for me at least, it needs to be reinvented, or it's just that it's done, dude. You beat that.
I've only played one of them and I'm sick of
death.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody only really needs to play the shit out of one Animal Crossing game. And then you have nostalgia for it again after that. But no, you need a new game. You need something more involving, something deeper. They need to Breath of the Wildify every one of their franchises. Would you agree?
I think so.
They reinvented.
I would love to see Metroid reinvented that way.
See, to me,
hey, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp's got a Pokemon Eevee crossover thing going on.
That's right. I forgot about that.
They just reinvented Animal Crossing.
Yeah, they reinvented Animal Crossing as a mobile game. There you go. Yeah. Right. Metroid got its reinvention as Prime.
It's Prime, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think Z's meaning that everything needs to be like Breath of the Wild, but that it needs a massive overhaul.
Yeah.
It needs it needs to be stripped down to its core components. Somebody, and I'm sure this is something that the old guard can do, right? They're not so great about necessarily, some of the finer details these days, but one thing they can do is like discussion focus groups of stripping every game franchise down to its core components and saying, what is it about this particular franchise that makes it fun? And now let's build a new modern game around that same concept with these same components. It's exactly the way they built Zelda, and they need to kind of do the same thing with everything else. And it doesn't necessarily need to be an open world, huge game for everything. It's just they need to strip it back to basics. And to a degree, that's what they did with Mario Party. Mario Party, the new Mario Party is a pretty simplified version of Mario Party, all told. But the mini games are solid. They're, so far, Liz and I have yet to find like a stupid one. Right, you know what I mean? They're all cute or fun in their own kind of way. Like you know what I mean? I think they knew they blew it with the last couple. And I think they kind of tried to refocus on core stuff. Now I know you guys hate it because it's the online, and that does suck. But at least for what it is, the couch co-op concept, or the couch game. They did a really good job with this one. It's the first Mario Party I thought this is a good, well done quality. It doesn't irk me in this way or that way. It's the first one of those I've felt in a long time about a Mario Party game.
I
Since
just
like
always
3
get
or
the
4.
feeling that Nintendo thinks that this couch co-op group is larger than they are. But I guess those are the children who have siblings that live together.
Or friends that
Yeah,
come
that's
over
the-
after
yeah.
school. That's still a thing, I think. Right? Kids still do that? Go over to each other's houses after
Maybe.
school? Or is that unsafe these days?
Yeah, to
Stranger
get
danger.
high. No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
They can come to my house for that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just a lonely old bastard who doesn't have anyone to play couch co-op with. So I think they should, any game that's couch co-op, they could just as easily shoot some online there. And if you don't have real friends, you've probably got online ones.
But aren't online friends real friends too?
They are. But yeah, then again, I don't know if I would buy Mario Party to play with my online friends, but I'd be more likely to.
You know what? Yeah, if you could play the full game online, I think, I mean, weirdly, like Nintendo has to be losing a lot of sales over that.
I'm sure that killed the 3DS one. Like, I couldn't believe when they did that, because I was like, now you're requiring everyone to have their own 3DS and their own game.
And we don't see these numbers, but that has to hurt them significantly when people go, oh, it's got very limited online playability. Pass. Like, there's got to be a substantial portion of the potential purchasers that feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised how long it's been. I felt like that Mario Party especially has needed online function for ages, and it's still not there, which is amazing. I don't know.
Everyone, I mean, yeah, Nintendo has multiple classic, old school, everybody remembers playing the shit out of them, multiplayer franchises. Yet, the best we get is you can point at shit on Zelda while your friend's playing and talk to him on the phone.
Hey, you're getting Wario's Woods in December.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is, I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing that Nintendo's even still making consoles with this kind of crap.
Although November's looking to be pretty rough with Metroid Mighty Bomb Jack and Twin B.
Wow.
I wonder if you'll start out Metroid with a whole bunch of missiles and energy packs. I bet you will.
They might do just the Justin Bailey code edition.
Yeah.
We've already typed in the code for you.
Yeah,
they won't even make you put it in. Yeah.
All right, before we leave Pokemon altogether, there was one other kind of odd topic that I wanted to bring up, and that was some new bugs have been discovered. So the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology has recently discovered 6 new insect species, and they're asking the public, of course, to help name them. And the great thing
are any of them Buddy McBoatface?
No,
or
they're not.
Buggy McBugface?
No, that would have been great, but
okay,
but instead they're all Pokemon names. So
nice.
So they're hoping to name some new species of insects after Pokemon. It's kind of a cool thing. Only in Japan would they do this, but I think it is great. And so far, Durant, out of all of them, is the most popular choice.
Is one of them like a hardy ant?
Kind of. They're all, you can, of course, if you want to see pictures, they're pretty easy to Google, but they're all the scary looking insects. So
that's good. That's a good name for Pokemon.
Yeah, if Pokemon were real, they would look like that. Be much bigger. So, think about
I'd like them to produce a horrifying Pokemon. Like, right, some kind of disturbing nightmare fuel Pokemon. Like, right, they all have some little bit of cuteness to them, no matter how weird they look. But they need to make one that really is, creepy looking.
Well, they've come close on some of them.
You might be mixed. Then never mind.
Yeah, that's not good. But we have kind of touched on some of the topics here that we were going to go into, and one of those is Super Mario Party. It's finally getting a Joy-Con bundle here in North America. So it's up for pre-order. It releases in November for $99.99, and of course we're talking about the bundle. It comes with the game and two Joy-Con, but one pair of Joy-Con. And the colors we're getting are yellow and neon green, which I cannot complain about. Those are pretty nice looking.
Wait, what? Did
You
I
didn't-
miss a memo?
You didn't know about this?
No.
Lemon lime.
Yeah,
There's more Joy-Cons to buy? No, but they're the same ones. Oh well,
they're the
never
same.
mind.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
special about them.
They're just getting rid of some overstock.
Yeah, arms colors and see the Splatoon ones
Splatoon.
seem like
Yeah.
they would have sold well, but they weren't very available, and everybody just wanted two greens.
Yeah, I don't think Splatoon was quite the hit that even I expected it was going to be.
Yeah.
Switch. It didn't make quite the splash.
Yeah,
But, it's another thing where it was the big fish in the small pond on
and then
the Wii U.
agreed. But it's also the fact that they did not need to hammer these things out 4 weeks apart. That was not necessary.
Yeah.
Like they just wanted to show everyone, look, we got games. But it's like, no, guys, you did not need to blow your whole wad in the first 3 months.
Look what we can do if we actually try.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're back to sitting on our asses, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Whoops.
Yeah. What's frustrating about this? I know there's probably people that have been interested in the game and probably would have bought the bundle, but have already bought the game because they did not know there would be a bundle.
Yeah.
So, is this tempting to you at all, Mo? I know you're a green lover like myself.
Yeah, I mean, the lemon lime combo of Joy-Cons is pretty cool, but I don't know.
You're not in for $100.
I don't think so. I don't know. I might rent. Maybe it's a good rental. But I don't know how much like my kid would play it. But I had plenty of fun with the Nintendo 64 Mario parties, but that's pretty much where I jumped off that boat.
Yeah, they haven't. I don't know how good they've been since. I'm trying to remember. I picked up a couple on the GameCube and cannot remember them for the life of me. So I assume they weren't great.
Mario Party 9.
I think I played one on the GameCube and then maybe rented one or something, or just heard reviews about it, and that's the last I played of Mario Party.
Yeah.
Was it 4 and 5 on the Cube, or I don't remember.
I don't remember for sure.
I don't know. I know they went up to 3 on N64, and the first one.
Well, then that would be right.
First one was the one that gave you the stigmata from doing circles on the N64 analog stick.
I was trying to figure out the hell you were talking about.
I wasn't sure what you meant.
It would give you a very distinct blister in the center of the palm of your hand.
You've been playing Mario Party.
Yeah.
Right. That's what that's from.
Which Nintendo actually offered to send people gloves for playing Mario Party back then. It's an interesting thing for another day. But
that's an interesting, yeah.
You can look it up. Yeah.
Were they power gloves?
They were not. But I think there was some sort of lawsuit involved where Nintendo offers glove to prevent joystick injuries.
Oh, the same way they had to offer the Wii rubbers for the Wiimote rubbers for people breaking their TVs.
Yeah. The story is still online, by the way. So
yeah. So if you aren't familiar, you can look it up. I'm sure there's pictures. I just like to look at the pictures sometimes.
Nintendo agreed to provide 4 sets of sports gloves to each Mario Party owner who sends in a request. And a rather elaborate proof of purchase requirements as well to get it. But yeah,
That'd be a real
good for them.
collector's item there.
Way to make good. Like, not only did I have it, but I still had my proof of purchase, and I sent it into Nintendo probably years later when this thing went by. But yeah, play generic. Anyway, what else we got?
All right. So we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, and that is the Virtual Console titles or the NES titles currently on Nintendo Switch Online. And we got a surprise one dropped just after we recorded last week, and that is The Legend of Zelda: Living the Life of Luxury. And I know this was surprising to see. Hugh wasn't even aware that this existed.
I didn't know that was the name of it.
Yeah.
Like, it shows up as Legend of Zelda and then has like a little banner in the corner that says special.
Yeah. I was looking at screenshots of like the description of it, and yeah.
I know Barry was not a fan, and he's probably one of the biggest fans of the original Legend of Zelda that I know. And as much as he does stuff like no sword run throughs and stuff.
Oh, well, that's antithetical to what they did, so I could see why he would be offended by it. But to me, like, if you want Zelda to be accessible to a modern audience of kids that have a shorter attention span just by virtue of the fact that they got a million other games to play,
you gotta give them everything up front. Just unlock it all.
You just it's an idea to basically give somebody a head start, take away some of the early game grind, so that you can just get your ass to the dungeons and get into the meat of the game quickly. So I totally feel that. Plus, also remember, the early part of Zelda in the old days was learning how to play the game, whereas nowadays that's just second nature to anybody who plays video games. You know how to control Link. You know what I mean? It's just, so I get it. I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not like, my first instinct with all this kind of stuff, like with the censorship on the pinball tables, is, fuck that, all original. But I feel it. Like, again, I wouldn't be bothered if you start out in Metroid with some missiles, and an energy pack or something. That's fine.
Do you think they're going to continue this with some of the more, I dare say,
I think this is, I bet you this is a test run and see how people react. And then if so, probably.
I don't know how many people are playing these games anyway, but yeah, I wouldn't think it's a one-off. Nothing Nintendo does like that's a one-off. It would be really weird if it was. It's just like, remember that one time they did that special Legend of Zelda? But yeah, I was totally expecting, like, maybe next week we'll see, or next month we'll see, like, Super Mario Brothers, and it comes with 99 lives.
Yeah. Or the Konami codes just automatically put in for you. Yeah.
On Gradius, I guess, since Contra will never be coming.
Yeah, or Super C.
Super C will be coming.
We'll get that. But hey, we did see, again, we saw pro wrestling. So outside of things like Tyson or Star Wars, like, all bets are off as far as I'm concerned. As long as it's not a licensing issue, I think it might still come back. I mean,
we'll see.
Like a sports or celebrity licensing issue.
For a short time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was available on the Wii Virtual Console, and then they pulled it from it. So
yeah, that's one of those ones.
But yeah, some of these aging titles, they've got
those. See, let me tell you, dude, because I know I've been on my little mini hacking route, rage for the past few months. Those are the reasons, right? Like, I
there's a lot of stuff you can't get.
I sat, but it's also just the fact that, like, when Nintendo finally announced what they were giving us, I didn't really think about it at the time. That's about when I decided I was going to start hacking this thing, and I didn't really put those two together at the time. But really, it was basically when I finally got confirmation that I was not going to get my Virtual Console shit that I bought on previous, right?
Yeah.
Like, pretty much getting confirmation that this is all you get, this is all we're going to give you. Fuck it. I got 2,800 games on this thing now. Like, you know what I mean? I just finally got to a point. Like I played ball for decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do IT shit for a living. I'm well aware that there's ROMs out there on the internet and are very easy to get, and I just have not touched them for 20 years. I have not had. I would pay my money to Nintendo and get all my shit legit. But you know what? I got sick of it. I finally have just given up. Like, this is bullshit. Like, come on, guys. Day fucking one, I should have had everything that I bought on the Wii U. That's not even fucking open to debate. That's a joke.
Part of me wonders how much resources did they put in to making a special edition Legend of Zelda game that they could have put into converting more, because drip feeding us 3 a month is that's just as bad or worse than the Wii and the Wii U.
It absolutely is. It's about the same. It feels the same to me. You know what I mean? I've given up. They just won't get another penny out of me out of their old. I've bought every one of those fucking games at least 3 times. And I've had it. I've just had it with their bullshit with that, and I just won't. I won't. I mean, I guess I already paid them for the yearly fee for those games again, but like outside of paying for my yearly subscription, which we'll see if I decide it's worth it after a year, I'm just not going to pay them for that shit anymore. I just won't. I've paid them enough, for God's sakes, and I'm sick of them playing games with it. It's so much worse than Disney in the Vault, man.
It took them months after the 3DS Virtual Console for them to put out Mighty Bomb Jack, but they feel this needs to be in the OG bundle.
I think the way they're doing it with it dripping so slowly is that people are just going to lose interest in it.
Yeah.
I know I already have. It's like before the podcast, we were talking about these titles, and it's like I totally forgot that they'd come out.
If they dropped literally like 30, 40 good games, like if they dropped the entire NES Classic day one, the 30 games that are on the NES Classic, okay, that's a start. And then just keep that shit rolling. Like, but no, trickle.
Well, the quality of the titles is like I use Bomb Jack. I've never played Mighty Bomb Jack. It might be great. All I'm saying is, looking at IGN and GameSpot, both have given it 2 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
So it makes me wonder, why would Nintendo be so, other than I think Tecmo is one of the companies behind Mighty Bomb Jack. So that's one of those companies who's obviously on board early with Tecmo Bowl and Ninja Gaiden. Whatever's coming.
So it's like
what else can we put out by this company?
Well, no, I think it may have been a case of, okay, we'll give you Tecmo Bowl, but you have to also
take Mighty Bomb Jack.
Yeah, you also have to put out Mighty Bomb Jack,
and you have to put it out before Ninja Gaiden.
Maybe. I mean, they may have been that specific.
But yeah,
right. And I get the idea of putting out a crap game first, because maybe we could still make a few bucks off of this while people are waiting for that. But it's again, you're
3 a month.
You're not selling this, but you're not selling anything anymore.
Yeah.
You're not getting people to buy these, so there is no reason to put out the crap. There's zero.
Yeah.
Like, you've already got people's money, basically. You know that. Nintendo knows they've already got people's money. So you're giving them a gimme, and you better make it fucking good.
But they know that they've got you locked in for a year. Yeah. Because pretty much everyone's going to buy it for a year, so they don't have to promise another good new game until next October.
It's kind of
to make
it's like a game
your
of chicken.
Shit.
It's like a game of chicken between Nintendo and the consumer.
Yeah. The next October, they'll be like, "Oh, we got this great game coming out. You better re-up your subscription, or else you won't be able to play Super Mario 2."
Yeah, I expect them to add a new feature of some type by then, or something to make you
like onboard voice chat.
No, not that.
Netflix.
Something. There'll be some.
Netflix. I know. When did Hulu come out? I checked the date. It was right at the beginning of November or right at the end of October. So I am I am pretty convinced that is when we're going to get Netflix. Will be pretty much exactly a year after Hulu came out. I'm
Yeah, that was
certain Hulu bought a year of exclusivity from Nintendo.
November 9th, 2017 was when Hulu came out.
And I would argue Nintendo blew it with that year of exclusivity, because everybody that was chomping at the bit to get their app on Switch a year ago now gives half a shit.
And you can't even find it. It's not like it's separated anywhere in the eShop. Like, you have to know Hulu's there.
You have to search. You have to search directly for it, or you're not getting it. Yeah, you're right.
Will you all use? I think you both have experience with Netflix. I do not.
I would use it. Yeah.
You would use it on the Switch?
Yeah, I would use YouTube on the Switch.
I would use any streaming app that I normally use, I would make use of on the Switch, absolutely, because I don't have. I had a tablet once upon a time. Was a cheap Costco tablet when I bought it, and is now grossly outdated. So I basically don't have a tablet. So the Switch is still the biggest screen. Maybe the Wii U, but that's an old slow, an old low res, whatever, and has its limitations. Yeah, the Switch is my tablet basically. I would totally watch stuff on it.
I use my phone for everything, and if nothing else, the Switch would just be a way that I could free up my phone to browse the internet while I'm not paying attention to Netflix shows that I have binge watching. Max, would you use Netflix on the Switch?
Yes, I would. It would be nice to be able to take it around the house with me and watch or just listen to it, whatever.
I would eat dinner.
I would use Netflix, HBO. I occasionally pop up stuff on Hulu still.
Yeah. YouTube would be big.
Switch.
Or Spotify.
And the kids love YouTube. Spotify will be forever, which I'm less likely to use something like a Spotify, just because music on my TV isn't really my thing. I've got Bluetooth speakers for that, but some people would use it, I'm sure. I would download it.
I was thinking handheld.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could do that too. Put the tablet in your pocket. Although where the headphone jack is, doesn't make that convenient.
No, but if you could just set it.
You could duct tape it to your chest.
Yeah, there you go. Make a little holder with a string right around your neck.
That's like when they're talking about this Smash music, like the 3DS. Like, I know Jason used that function to listen to the Smash soundtrack. I don't know on the Switch if it's going to be as convenient.
It's too big.
Yeah.
And the headphone jack. Well, the headphone jack was always in an awkward place on the 3DSs too.
I'm not sure that would go into my pockets to where I would.
If you take the Joy-Con off.
I guess.
Then you got to hope the music has touchscreen controls, or else it's a whole thing.
Oh, but you would, if you've got it in your pocket, you don't want it to have touchscreen controls.
That's true, because then
you're changing songs every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just shifted my weight. Now I'm listening to something else. There's no reason I wouldn't use my phone for that instead.
Yeah. Well, you can't listen to the Smash soundtrack on your phone unless you're going to get it illegally.
That's true, I guess.
Well, wait a minute. No, that's not true, is it? Is it not available via any online format?
No, Nintendo does not allow that. The only thing you can get officially from Nintendo in a digital format is the Jump Up Superstar from Mario Odyssey.
Oh, that's right. That was their
$1.
That was their first. Yeah. Well, okay. Technically,
wonder how that's doing on the iTunes ratings these days.
I bet you, Nintendo would still fight you in court, but I think legally you could technically rip that CD to, a player or something on your phone.
You do have the CD. They do occasionally, yeah.
But they would still. I bet you they'd still, like, were you to ask Nintendo's legal department, they'd say no.
I think it is just iTunes as well. I'm looking, but when you type "Jump Up Superstar MP3," I don't see iTunes pop up at all. Just a bunch of pirate sites. But if you do type in iTunes, it does come up. $1.
Nice.
It's got a
So if you wanna-
4.9 out of 5-star rating. This is as good as music gets, people. Jump Up Superstar.
I wonder, that's every Nintendo employee worldwide.
The first review, 4.9 out of 5. 5 stars. Please buy. This song cured my cancer. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
The third review right now is "Here We Go Off the Motherfucking Rails." So iTunes loves that song. So
Well, I was looking at a site that does the iTunes charts, and it says it is charted in 6 countries, and it was number 21 on the Spanish songs chart in October of last year. So, yeah.
good.
Due to probably some promotion at a radio station in Spain.
There.
Yeah, it's
Nintendo bought a copy for everyone in Spain.
That's right. That's how those politicians end up with books on the bestseller lists. Is like, donors will buy 500,000 copies of their book.
Well, yeah. It's it's why Wii Sports is the best-selling game of all time.
Yeah.
If you pack it in, you still sold it.
That's right.
Which is sad. Anyway, we were going.
All right. Yeah, we were going down a different road before. This is another little interesting tidbit story that had come up. So a patent had surfaced, and this was from back earlier in the year in March, but it was a patent for a Game Boy casing for smart devices. So basically, it allows button inputs from the casing to be sensed by your touchscreen, and it has an opening in the case where the Game Boy screen would have been. So it kind of leads to the point of, could this be Nintendo's idea for a Game Boy Classic?
That's what I thought when I saw it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I see about that. On the one hand, it fits, it checks boxes to me for Nintendo weirdness.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It seems just Nintendo-y enough that I buy it, but what I think it'll end up being used for primarily is emulators.
Well, there's been stuff like this in the past. I think we even talked about one of those companies made like a Game Boy ish for your phone that was kind of bulkier, I think.
Something that you drop it in, as I remember. It wasn't kind of like the wraparound like they're doing with this, but it was something you could drop in or whatever, and there have been a few variations of that.
Just think of how much money they would make if they made a Game Boy Classic app that allowed you to buy Game Boy games for $2 or $3 a piece on your phone. like in the 3DS.
Well, except for the fact that
Pokemon.
Except for the fact that, in all my travels, like I had a Game Boy back in the day, and it was black and white, and it's hard going back and playing those games.
It is.
Not backlit.
Yeah, there's not a lot. Well, this would be backlit because it's your phone.
Because it's your phone. I mean, but yes, back in the day, that God, I can't imagine like trying to busting that thing out and trying to play some of those games today. It's like I had way better eyes as a kid, apparently, because I can't. It's so frustrating to deal with. But as a kid, you just dealt with it.
Well, let me ask this question. Z's probably going to be the winner here, but I don't know. How many Game Boy games do you have on your 3DS that you bought or got free or whatever through the virtual console?
I only have the ones that I got for free, I think.
Wait.
And that was an ambassador thing, right?
Right.
I forgot you're an ambassador. You're an ambassador.
Son of a bitch. But Okay, but what about ones that you actually got because you wanted them? So that's 0 for Jason. Unless you would have bought some of those had they not been provided to you.
I don't
The
remember if I
ambassador.
bought. I know I've played all of the Super Mario games.
Yeah.
I don't know that were those all free, like the Legend of the Seven Golden Coins and all those.
They might have been.
Were they? I don't think they were free, unless you got them for your ambassador.
That's
thing.
what he means to the ambassador.
Oh, but I thought all the ambassador games, as I remember, I thought all the ambassador games were ones that never were available otherwise.
No, because there were NES games on that. There were some GBA games that they said would never be available.
Oh, those were the ones. Yeah, because I know Minish Cap never came out, and all the GBA ones never.
And then they burned all those people and put them out on Wii U Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people would have still preferred to have them on 3DS. But
I would.
I don't know. I probably have. I mean, are we counting just regular Game Boy games? Because like I bought some of the Game Boy Color Zelda.
Like Shantae.
I did pick up Game Boy Color OG Shantae.
I think I've got a total of 4, maybe.
I've got
the 2 Marios. Mario Land and the Golden Coins.
Land is what I was
I got Radar Scope or whatever it is. It's basically Battleship. I got that from Club Nintendo. Oh, and I've got OG Tetris.
I've probably picked up 8 or 10 between like original Game Boy Donkey Kong was one that I only ever played a little bit of and was cool. I got the 2 Marios. I got a bunch of the Zeldas.
Did you get Pokemon?
I got Pokemon Yellow and had a good time naming your opponent. You know, you could name him whatever you wanted in the old days with no profanity filter. Yeah. So I kept taking pictures. I would name him asshole or something and take a picture and then reset it and name him something else. But I don't know. I kind of stalled out on those. I bought more on the Wii U. Well, Wii and Wii U.
So,
what about Max?
Huh?
Max?
I'm gonna guess 0.
Yeah, I was like, what the chances? What the answer is? I don't remember.
But some, yeah. On your 3DS? No.
Were you an ambassador?
No, I wasn't.
Were you an ambassador mode?
No.
Wow.
Wow. You're the big man on campus.
We were all late adopters on the 3DS, man. It was really that was a bad launch for them, I guess.
The 3DS was me coming back to Nintendo because I had everything.
Same here,
I'm trying to think what was last. I had a Game Boy Advance and I had a GameCube. And then when I saw this Wii monstrosity, I said, boy, Nintendo's really going downhill fast. And then I saw the DS and I laughed. I said, well, now it's all just gimmicky bull crap. I'm not buying any more Nintendo stuff. And then I went and bought hundreds and hundreds of dollars of vintage Nintendo stuff and started playing Super NES and NES again. And then when the 3DS came out, I was like, some of this stuff looks kind of cool. So
what was it? For me, it was
Star Fox 64.
Oh, really?
3D. The 3D too, because I'm a fan of 3D. So like,
me too. And I can't believe I wasn't on board with this thing like more from the get go. But it was actually there was a phone that came out. I got I was ready for a phone upgrade at the time, and so there was a 3D phone that came out that had the same technology, and I ended up picking that up first and was so impressed with that I decided, okay, I got to get this Nintendo thing if it does the same as this. And it was really when I heard 3D Land was coming out, that was the trigger for me.
My first game that I bought with my 3DS was New Super Mario Brothers for regular DS.
Sad.
And then like within a week or so, I picked up Star Fox. But yeah, I was just like, I kind of used the excuse like, oh, it's backward compatible. So like I can maybe play that Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow that I never played because I was a big fan of Aria of Sorrow. I still never played through Dawn of Sorrow. I don't even own it.
You know what? I gotta say, there was something kind of special about the fact that like the DS line is still running after 12 years.
Yeah.
Is it 06? Or wait, no, it was earlier than that, wasn't it? The Wii was 06, I think. Because it's right, it's like I still have cartridges. I can still go buy a game that came out 12 years ago and just pop it in this thing 14 years ago. November 2004 that thing came out, and it's still a linear same.
And many of the
so
titles can be picked up for $1 or less.
Yeah, probably.
I came across a sealed copy of Build-A-Bear Workshop for $4 and still didn't buy it on DS. Not 3DS.
Appropriately so.
Yeah.
But right, DS had a long run. They sold a ton of them, and it had just probably over 1,000 games by the time the 3DS came along.
How many of them were Sudoku?
Far too many, I'm sure.
And
Had
brain, or had brain in the title.
Or Picross.
Yeah.
I still don't understand Picross.
But I don't know. As far as Game Boy, I mean, if you're going to do a Game Boy Classic, you better unload it quick, because the people who give a crap about Game Boy are few and far between, even within our generation. But yeah, a mobile app would be a good way to do it. You could bundle the software in. Hopefully they don't sell stuff individually. Hopefully it's you buy a bundle that gets you that. You get that app, and then you get the little case, and they'll probably do it for like 30.
Back up. Back the hell up. I just had a brainstorm, and I think this is legit.
A Labo cardboard Game Boy.
Ooh, that's a hell of an idea too. But that's a great idea. No, but okay, think about this. No, I think you guys will buy into this one. The NES controller Joy-Con?
Yeah.
That's only purchasable with your subscription to Nintendo online service.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Yeah, and so the Game Boy games would be included They expand this NES library to include Game Boy games, but only through your
using the Nintendo
app.
Switch mobile app. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And you can buy only Nintendo Switch, online people can buy the Game Boy case.
Yeah. I can see that.
I am thoroughly convinced this is their plan. I am totally convinced of this.
That's so crystal clear. I can't believe I didn't see it before. But yeah, that would.
Yeah.
But that makes a little too much sense.
And sadly to say, I would be so over that shit too.
Yeah.
If they did.
And that would be, and really the people, I think they would have fewer people buying it, but I don't know if Game Boy really has that much. I would consider us to be fairly hardcore as far as Nintendo fans go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see us clamoring for Game Boy.
Yeah,
when they announced this, we weren't going, "Hey, where the hell's the Game Boy games?"
Yeah, but
we were saying we're Super NES. But yeah, we'd take it.
There's no limit here. Why not make all the games that are available to play on the Switch through the Nintendo Online Service playable through the Nintendo phone app? NES games with the Game Boy adapter. Why not? It's the same controller.
Yeah.
And Super Game Boy, colorized stuff, right? That's one thing that's always been missing from the Virtual Console that's been irking the crap out of me is, right, when you popped a black and white Game Boy game into anything anything other than an original black and white Game Boy, you had options to set colors instead of grayscale.
Yeah.
But the Virtual Consoles never had that, and it irks crap out of me.
Yeah.
Although
they do have a nice option to do black and white or a weird green screen.
Oh yeah, right.
Which I always play them in green.
Of course.
Because geniuses pick green.
That's OG. Yeah. Okay. I guess. But no, because OG Game Boy was green. But maybe that's why.
That's right.
Never mind.
Yeah. I don't know. Something. If Nintendo didn't think of that yet, this is yet another one they can have.
Yep, it's free of charge, Nintendo.
Yeah.
But
at this rate, we'll probably see that as the special offer next Christmas.
Yeah, probably. And it
And
would take
that'll
them that long to develop something like
that'll
that.
give them a right to sell this thing for $30 or $40 with another $10 shipping and handling. Or you said the shipping and handling is only $5 or something on the controllers. It was reasonable.
Yeah, it's their normal. Okay, so that's like anytime I've ever ordered anything from like, you know, the little plastic stand for the sensor bar for the Wii, like I ordered a couple of those.
Yeah.
Like that's $5 shipping,
Yeah, it's flat.
or if I ordered like the huge because I think yeah, I'm pretty sure I ordered a few of the little amiibo stand things just because they happened to have a deal on it that was cheaper than Amazon. And same thing, it came in a giant ass box. Because I also threw in a bunch of other just random like Wii remote covers and a whole bunch of random shit. It was a big ass box, $5 shipping. So whether they're sending you an envelope with something in it or a giant ass box, it seems to be $5 shipping across the board. Random point of note.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah, I always, if I ever, like once every few years, I'll go to the Nintendo online store and buy a bunch of stuff like that, like an extra DS stylus and, you know, just random old shit. And replace the batteries too. Right, for the old ones when I'm sunsetting them, put them, if I'm going to put them on the shelf for ever.
That's a good thought.
Pick up a fresh battery, try to keep it at storage voltage, whatever that is for those. I'm just ranting. What was our topic? I'm sure it had nothing to do with this.
We were talking about the Game Boy for smart devices.
Yeah. Which I was so by that. I hope I'm right.
That's a good idea. That's the best possible outcome because Nintendo people are collectory, and I don't like I said I don't know how much the casual market, especially if you don't throw in Tetris, because they took Tetris away from. I bought it on the Virtual Console for 3DS, and then they removed it and unlisted it once the Tetris license changed hands from somebody to somebody else, and they put out a new Tetris game on 3DS.
It's a good precedent that they didn't yank it from anybody's 3DS, though. Not that they probably would have had the ability to do it, but
they probably could.
I'm glad they didn't because that means they probably won't going forward. But
well, like I said, I know there were people who had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the Wii, and if you had bought it and downloaded it, you got to keep it. But if you ever got rid of it from your console, you couldn't re-download.
You couldn't re-download. Oh, I wonder if Tetris is the same way on the 3DS.
It
probably is.
Interesting.
We got anything else?
Yeah, we've got a few more topics went through here. One, this is just I thought was an interesting oddity coming up, and it's Ubisoft sent out a customer survey to ascertain the feelings of their customers about Nintendo characters. And they had a list of them, and you could say, you know, how you felt about each one. It has to be new partnership, working on new games. What do you guys think?
Which character would you like us to make a game about next?
It was just, I should clarify, it's just Mario-based characters like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi. Yeah. It wasn't like Link or Donkey Kong.
That was Ubi putting that out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Ubi had, right, the Rabbids
Kingdom
thing.
Battle,
So
they want to know who's going to be in the sequel.
Yeah, they probably still got something going on with the Nintendo may have licensed out, you know, their characters for 2 or 3 games or something as a package deal. So
maybe just for a second one based on the success of the first one, because that was relatively well received. I think everybody was expecting a train wreck, so when it wasn't, the rave reviews poured out. You know, like everyone was like, "Oh, I think the Rabbids are the worst thing in the world," and yet this game wasn't bad. So I
had friends
they've
that
got
put
at least a sequel.
some real time into it.
Yeah, I've heard plenty of people say that they've enjoyed it.
It was enough. Yeah, you're right. Enough buzz that they could. And Ubi loves to milk a good thing. They
Just Dance
or Assassin's Creed.
Oh my God, I saw a Reddit thread the other day that was called "Don't Buy Just Dance 2018 or 2019, whatever the new one is for Switch." And I was like, "Oh my God!" And it had hundreds of replies, I believe. And I was like, there's this many people interested in talking about this? But apparently so. Apparently there's some sort of issue going on where there's like, it says you can get a free demo of their premium thing because it comes like with 40 songs, but then they've got their online thing that allows you to access like hundreds of other songs. But they couldn't get the free demo to work. So they went ahead and ponied up and paid whatever the amount of money it is to unlock all these songs. And guess what? It still didn't work. And it's been out for like weeks. And Ubisoft apparently isn't responding to any of the customers. And yeah, there was a whole list of these people like, yeah, that's what happened to me too. I paid the money and it never gave me the songs. So,
Wow.
so watch out, Just Dancers. I guess.
I was more like, watch out. There's people that still play Just Dance.
Yeah, it's apparently it's a thing. Sorry. But yeah, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. That's a good aside. It's interesting to know. Well, we've had that on the podcast before. Who's buying it for Wii?
Yeah. Apparently people are buying it for enough people are buying it and probably are updating their consoles now. I don't know if it's a system seller or not, but we've got the only version where you can probably actually wave your hands. Unless Xbox Connect is still a thing, or PlayStation Motion, or whatever it was called.
Move, I think, wasn't it?
Move. Yeah, that's it. The white balls on a stick.
Glowing balls, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was okay.
Speaking of balls, topic.
Thank you, Jason.
Now you've got my attention.
It's Pinball FX3.
Oh.
So, kind of a controversy come out this past week. New tables were released, and there was some censorship. Nothing too major, but a lot of fans are upset that they didn't stay true to the original tables.
I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. I don't think any of us are super hardcore pinball enthusiasts to the point where we would have noticed if no one had said anything.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe if you're reissuing something, you should reissue it with the truest version. And I guess some of the stuff that they censored was just, women in bikinis or, something like that.
Blood on a sword.
Blood on a sword. Things that were not necessarily X-rated, but just they were a little too T for teen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems
by
like
ESRB standards.
And I don't know. It seems to me like the negative press they'll get out of it versus like how many people are setting parental controls on their consoles and saying, oh no, you can't play this because it's T for teen. I mean, there's a small segment of the population, and that's fine. And there's certain parents that are careful with younger, very younger kids. But
even then, if the kids said, "But it's fucking pinball," I'd say, "Oh, okay."
It's true. Yeah, no, it seems like an overreach, and I'm not one to fight the battle about that kind of crap generally. I just roll with it, but it's a little bit irksome because their target audience for this stuff with the Midway and Bally licenses is old farts like us who want the original tables.
Yeah.
And it's going to irk us that they're not the original tables the same way friggin' walkie-talkies and ET irk the shit out of people.
I love Pinball FX. And I think they do quality work, but the CEO or the vice president of publishing, basically the excerpt quote he had was, "We pride ourselves on Pinball FX being a very family friendly game. People expect a specific type of game associated with certain types of content." Yeah, pinball. I'm not going to jeopardize all those relationships, all that history, all of those families that play the game for some bits of artwork.
And let's back the fuck up on that a little bit, because you know what? Where were pinball tables traditionally back in the day?
Well, bars and arcades.
Bars. And what why did they have like gunslingers and scantily clad women and like, fancy cars on them and stuff? That was
because they were for
appropriate.
adults or the kids that the drunks brought to the bar with them.
Yeah, it's true, and I was one of those kids.
Yeah.
But right, this is they're totally missing their audience here. And as a side note, even in the history of video game console pinball, in my travels lately, there's all sorts of like adult themed, even video game pinball. And by adult, I don't necessarily mean like, naked women or anything. I just mean like, scary monster pinball and devil and demonic pinball. And like on PlayStation, there's a Motley Crue pinball, right? They had explicit lyrics, right? There's
Shout at the devil.
Yeah, there's all sorts of pinball games that are at the very least T for teen. I mean, probably not any worse than that. But I mean,
well, and that's
pinball,
the thing. I think that's the worst.
That's the real history of pinball. That's the real history of pinball, is that kind of stuff. And maybe some of it is inappropriate for this day and age. Then just don't put that table out. You're the guys that bought the license. You have to deal with it.
Yeah,
and that's
the truth. It's like, I don't think they should take a table and say, well, we're going to put this out, but we're going to change something. But other than the thing we changed, it's absolutely historic. It's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. It's historically accurate, except for the stuff that we changed. And that basically was, I mean, they went out and right out said that there's no way we could get away with this under the ESRB and still basically keep their rating that they wanted of E for everyone.
The Stern employees are going home and punching themselves in the balls over this.
So it's like,
it's just like, too, as you brought up, they've bought these licenses. They're choosing what tables to put into this game. It isn't like they're including all of them from a certain genre, and they have to include that. Why not choose other tables that didn't have these issues?
He did say that for all the hardcore players that don't like what they've done, they have just as many people saying thank you for doing this, because now my kids can play and my kids can know these games. But he did say that the people that are more mature are super important, and they'll hear them and they'll try to make those tables available, maybe under a different label or a different game. But FX3 is a family-friendly game. And that he has daughters himself that are 8 and 10, and he's so excited that they can finally play Medieval Madness and not worry about some of the things. Yeah, without seeing blood on a sword on the artwork.
Because
for the table. Thank you.
That way they don't have to think about what a sword's really for.
They see blood on the sword, and the next thing they're going to be asking about periods and.
But it's like, right? I mean, it's all goes to the sanitation of culture, but it's like, right? It's like, what is a sword for?
Yeah.
Is it for cutting cheese? Is it for? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you think it's for?
It's such a non-risque thing to me. Like I said, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, and I was very uncensored as a child, as I am now. That my parents would not block anything from me. So it's like, I'm 7 years old watching RoboCop and loving every bit of it.
I was 4 years old watching Jaws. Yeah. I mean,
there was one kid at school who couldn't watch G.I. Joe.
No problem.
Because G.I. Joe was too violent.
See, that's the kid.
That was one kid.
The one kid at my school that couldn't watch Bugs Bunny because it was too violent was all about Star Wars and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Just for the random weird inconsistency, but
I would say those people are few and far between. And at the end of the day, it's a pinball game, and they're looking to sell these pinball tables for what is it, $10 a pop or $5 a pop?
Let's also back up here. I thought T for teen made you money. I thought T for teen made you more desirable.
PG-13 makes you more than an R, but I think E for everyone is what they're
Makes you
looking.
more
The
than
thing
Pete
is,
King, really?
anyone who's interested in pinball in any way is going to download Pinball FX because it's free. But when it comes to buying the tables, I would think there's probably a very low conversion rate. I love pinball. I play a ton of Pinball FX3. I bought 0 tables.
Yeah, you know what? The free table probably isn't a good idea. They keep giving too many out, so you just don't feel it's like I got enough.
I'm up to 4 or 5 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel I've got an adequate amount of pinball tables.
Did you get one I missed?
No, there's 4 now.
Okay, there was the 3 batch, and then
there was the batch of 3, and then now there's this fishtails one
for a while.
Oh yeah, the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And now there's that Zachariah pinball.
Oh, that's
as
right.
well.
I forgot. I haven't even
and
tried
then there's
that
a whole
yet.
bunch of a la carte generic pinball games. So
yeah, those all, as you commented before, those all look terrible.
Yeah. It's like there was a whole pinball community out there just waiting for a system like Switch to come along.
I may have to say that none of these are my favorite, which is Pokemon Pinball. That's my favorite pinball game.
Well, you just gotta wait till Nintendo puts out their pinball, which will have Metroid Prime pinball and the good old 8-bit pinball, black box pinball.
There were 2 Pokemon pinballs, by the way.
The Ruby Sapphire is the one
that's the better one. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Sonic Spinball.
Oh, I did not like the Sonic game. I have multiple.
No, but Spinball. Spinball was its own thing.
I did like Devil's Crush, which was a TurboGrafx 16 pinball game that was on the Wii Virtual Console that I bought.
Yeah. There was Alien Crush was in that same series, but I think it was only the 2.
That was the original one. Devil's Crush, I think, was or maybe it's vice versa.
So, right, would Devil's Crush be considered not E for everyone? Because
I think that one is T for teen. I think it was T for teen. Yeah. Mature pinball. I don't know. It's just, it is what it is, I guess. It's just, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth when they want to say, we're putting out the most authentic, historically accurate thing, but we've censored some of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they have mentioned as well in that article that they've had run-ins with the ESRB before, and they don't want that to happen again. So, again, I would say, why take that risk?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Grow a pair of balls. That's what I say. It's like I've never heard anyone outside of our group talk about Zen pinball or 3DFX or whatever it is. They in their head, they're this big family brand. I don't think anyone knows the difference between one video pinball company to another. And they're going to say, oh, well, I don't let my kids play that pinball game. I could see if there was really something risque, like if you get a multi-ball and all of a sudden the chick's top comes off or something like that. But this is pretty tame
that
stuff.
pinball.
I'd buy that for $1. But yeah, I think it's pretty tame.
Speaking of RoboCop.
Yeah. What else we got?
So we need to keep moving here. There is the last topic for the night is a very interesting topic. And I can say I think we were all taken back when we saw this. So Konami made an announcement this week, and I'll just read you here what they said. Well, what their announcement was is that there's going to be a Contra live-action movie as well as a television series. So it's going to be based in Beijing. Well, the quote is, at Konami, we only use our IP-developed games, but we are also working to bring various forms of entertainment to people all over the world. And of course, by doing this all over the world, they mean we're going to make this in China. So, yeah. It's going to be the main story and characters, basically, of Contra with a Chinese fan.
Is Contra really big in China? We weren't aware of this?
I have no idea. I wasn't aware of it.
Well, see, I mean, here's the thing. Castlevania is their most compelling property, other than maybe, the Metal Gear stuff. But as far as like what makes good TV, Castlevania is probably it.
I don't know.
There's
Metal
a
Gear
there's a lot of
Solid,
bad movie
potentially.
ideas going around.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised it took them so long to
Like-
make a Contra movie.
Like I don't know that Mega
really?
Man's even gonna get made.
I
It
would
doesn't
be
appear
shocked.
the Tetris movie is gonna get made.
Which is a shame.
I don't know that this Contra one's gonna get made. Like I said, Contra was kind of like Alien and Predator, the movies individually, not Alien versus Predator, but it was kind of like the Predator movie and the Alien. It was a take on the
it
80s
was a
genre.
Yeah, it was a cheap
Yeah.
knockoff. It's the same way World of Warcraft is kind of a cheap knockoff of not just Lord of the Rings, but a bunch of other things that are like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
it's
the cover of
yeah.
the original Contra box is very much Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. Like,
absolutely.
you know,
If you go back and look at it, it totally looks like them.
but legally distinguishable.
Yeah, just enough. It looks just enough not like them that they couldn't sue.
Yeah. Just like the aliens at the very end, spoiler alert, in the last level of Contra are just different enough.
From aliens.
But you look at it and you go, that's definitely H.R. Giger inspired.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they put this out as an anime, people are gonna watch it. Not here, but somewhere. But I don't know.
I think it would do better as an anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than a live action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Or a
think
TV show.
the days of, and that maybe they'll update it and have some stupid new suits or something. But this was two meatheads in tank tops with a cloth headband tied around their heads with machine guns just running and gunning. And that's 3 decades too old now to fly.
So we're talking 5 seasons, 6 seasons?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
But I just like that I think it's how it's going to get made is it is being made and it's headquartered in China. And I think it will be made for the Chinese audience. And
that's a big market now. There's a lot of people in China.
Yep.
So your movie only has to be modestly successful to make a ton of money in China because there's a ton of people there. You remember when Force Awakens came out and there was like a controversy because they had taken Finn off the poster, and they were like, "Well, China doesn't like black people, so we took the black guy off the poster for China." And it's like, it's things like that where movies now are marketing directly to China, and they're like, we can put out a piece of crap that nobody wants to see in the United States, and it doesn't matter anymore because if China will see it, we don't have to worry about it.
Well, it's like all the superhero movies now have a China scene and a character that is some famous Chinese actor that no one in the West has ever heard of.
Or the stories are so dumbed down that you don't have to worry about the language. Yeah.
Translating them.
Yeah. It's like, this will easily translate because these are very general concepts.
Yeah. Very simplistic dialogue. And
but I don't know. It
words
like
where
a
you
bad
don't
idea.
have to move your mouth a lot so that it's easy to dub over.
It's like Konami's like, let's put out a Castlevania series. We're not going to put out a new game, but we'll put out a Netflix series, and we're going to put out a Contra series. We're not going to put out a Contra game. It's I don't know why they don't just
they're missing
make a new one. Yeah.
Yeah. They're missing the key component there. It's like you got to keep the game series going if people are going to give a shit about.
Well, Capcom had said with Mega Man that they were hoping the movie would help renew interest in the franchise. And it's like, you know what really renews interest in a franchise like Zelda? A great game.
A good new entry in that franchise. Yeah.
Nothing really gets people talking about Mega Man like a great Mega Man game, which I think Mega Man 11 Mega Man fans are into. So good.
Yeah, I've heard good things all around.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Kind of like the new Sonic. Somebody's paying attention. There's like a generation of it's kind of hit that right stride where people are figuring out how to revisit.
The generation that grew up with this stuff is now able to call some of the shots at the studios, I think.
That's true. Yeah.
But when we haven't had a Contra on a Nintendo system, I don't think since like Contra 4 on the DS, which I bought. It's one of the few DS games I own because it had the original Contra on it as an unlockable and Super C.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what, like, I don't know which is what as far as timing goes, but there have been a lot of Contras on various other consoles in my.
They've done some on
travels.
PlayStation. There was Hardcore.
Yeah,
And
that was Genesis, I think. PlayStation.
Was it? Oh, you're right. You're right.
PlayStation got
They got
there's
something.
two of them on the OG PlayStation, and then
Yeah.
I don't know where it went from there. But they've here and there they've popped up.
I don't want to see it reimagined as a first person though, and it could so easily be.
I don't. Yeah, no. Go ahead, Jason.
I said the newest game is a mobile game, which I was not aware that it
That's
existed.
right. I forgot about that. I did remember hearing about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
NECA put out a weird line of figures like a year or two ago of Contra that had the NES box art on the front. When you open it up, it's like kind of cartoony looking figures that had like the spread gun. They're like really nice figures, but they were like $40 or something. So I passed. But I would love to see Contra, just not like this.
Yeah, I would love to see it make a comeback. I'd love to be able to play the original Contra on Switch.
Boy, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
You know what?
You want to talk about online co-op games?
That would be good.
But that's the thing is, go back and play that these days, and it doesn't hold up quite like it used to. But you make that a third-person shooter, online co-op. I think that would work. You know, make the levels kind of linear where you're running through just shooting a ton of bad guys, picking up all sorts of cool power-ups, right? A neat boss fight at the end. Make it a 4-player co-op, third-person shooter. You know, I think that would totally work. And still stay true to the original vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is Max perhaps a closet Contra fan?
Konami just pours out their franchises now. Sorry, go ahead, Max.
I'm not sure. I can't remember if I actually played it or not.
It's got a lot of platforming, Max.
Yeah, that makes me think maybe I didn't.
Horrible platforming too.
Yeah, it's really
it was
bad.
good. It was just really tricky.
Yeah.
I just remember those sound effects. I haven't played it since I was a kid, but I can still remember the
sound of you dying.
Or shooting shooting the enemies and the little metallic ching sound that it was like.
Yeah. Getting the power-ups. Oh, that sound.
I think that's Contra. That was one of the few games I actually owned on NES. When I was a kid, that was another one. I looked at the box art and I said, "Hey, this looks like my kind of game."
And it was.
It was.
The box art really was exactly like the box art sold the game properly.
Yeah.
It really was what the game was.
Yeah. Hell of a game.
Yeah. That is a good place to wrap up for the evening. So if you're out there and you have good Contra memories, or if you have an opinion on this live-action movie and TV series, hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. So
I was gonna say, as a bonus, I think there's more F-bombs in this episode than any other episode. So if you want to make a drinking game out of it, feel free to take a shot every time.
I disagree. We've been on a tear before, usually me, but it's been a while though.
Nothing gets you swearing quite like Pokemon.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently not.
I'm just fired up tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in and listening. And sorry I can't bleep out those F-bombs for you, but
oh, you can.
I could,
but you choose not to.
Yeah, you've got the integrity not to worry about RES.
Exactly. Unlike Pinball FX3, you will not go through and try to rewrite history.
No. All right. Well, thank you for watching. As always, you can check us out right here on YouTube where we do the recording. Hit us up on Twitter at NOA_podcast. And of course, check us out on Stitcher and iTunes. So thanks for listening and have a good night.
Good night.
Party on, folks.